लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। गुकारस्त्वन्धकारो वै ऋकारस्त्वन्निवर्तकः अन्धकारनिरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। So we chant the excuse me a second. So we chant the dhyana shloka also in addition to this, so let's do that. And you can just another week or two just follow after me, then we'll do it together. Mauna vyakhya prakatita parabrahma tattvam yuvanam. Mauna vyakhya prakatita parabrahma tattvam yuvanam. Varshishtaante vasat rishiganaihi avritam brahmanishtaih. Varshishtaante vasat rishiganaihi avritam brahmanishtaih. Acharyendram karakalita chinmudram anandarupam. Acharyendram karakalita chinmudram anandarupam. Swat Ramam muditavadnam Dakshinamurtimide. Swatma Ramam muditavadnam Dakshinamurtimide. Vatavitapi samipe bhumi bhage nishannam. Vatavitapi samipe bhumi bhage nishannam. Sakala muni jananam ज्ञानदातारमारात्। ज्ञानदातारमारात्। त्रिभुवनगुरुम् ईशं दक्षिणामूर्तिदेवं। त्रिभुवनगुरुम् ईशं दक्षिणामूर्तिदेवं। जननमरणदुःखछेददक्षं नमामि। जननमरणदुःखछेददक्षं नमामि। चित्रं वटतरोर्मूले वृद्धा शिष्या गुरुर्युवा। चित्रं वटतरोर्मूले वृद्धा शिष्या गुरुर्युवा। गुरोस्तु मौनं व्याख्यानं शिष्यास्तु छिन्न संशयाः। गुरोस्तु मौनं व्याख्यानं शिष्यास्तु निधये सर्वविद्यानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां। निधये सर्वविद्यानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये। ॐ नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये। निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। So now we will chant the first 5 verses and kindly just follow after me for a couple of weeks. Then we'll do it together. Om Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijantargatam. Om Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari Tulyam Nijantargatam. Pashyan Atmani Mayaya Bahirivod-bhutam Yatha Nidraya. Pashyan Atmani Mayaya Bahirivod-bhutam Yatha Nidraya. Yat Sakshat Kurute Prabodha Samaye Swatmanamevadvayam. Yas Sakshat Kurute Prabodha Samaye Swatmanamevadvayam. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Bijasyantarivankuro jagadidam prang nirvikalpam punaha. Bijasyantarivankuro jagadidam prang nirvikalpam punaha. Maya kalpita desha kala kalana vaichitrya chitrikritam. Maya kalpita desha kala kalana vaichitrya chitrikritam. Maya viva vijrambayatyapi mahayogi vayasvechaya. Maya viva vijrambayatyapi mahayogi vayasvechaya. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Yasyaiva sphuranam sadatmakam asatkalparthakam bhasate. Yasyaiva sphuranam sadatmakam asatkalparthakam bhasate. Sakshat tattvamasiti veda vachasa yo bodhayatyashritan. Sakshat tattvamasiti veda vachasa yo bodhayatyashritan. Yat sakshat karanat bhavenna punaravrittirbhavambho nidhau. Yat sakshat karanat bhavenna punaravrittirbhavambho nidhau. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Nana Chidra Ghatodara Sthita Mahadipa Prabhabhaswaram. Nana Chidra Ghatodara Sthita Mahadipa Prabhabhaswaram. Jnanam Yasya Tu Chakshuradi Karanadvara Bahispandate. Jnanam Yasya Tu Chakshuradi Karanadvara Bahispandate. Janami iti tameva bhantamanubhatye tatsamastam jagat. Janami iti tameva bhantamanubhatye tatsamastam jagat. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. Deham pranam apindriyan apichalam buddhim cha shunyam viduhu. Deham pranam apindriyan apichalam buddhim cha shunyam viduhu. Stri balandha jadopamastvaham bhranta bhrisham vadinaha. Stri balandha jadopamastvaham bhranta bhrisham vadinaha. Maya shakti Shaktivilasakalpita Mahavyamoha Samharine Maya Shaktivilasakalpita Mahavyamoha Samharine Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye.
Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Nama Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye.
All right. So we are studying the Manasa Ullasa, verses number 4 through 7th, as part of the first verse of Dakshinamurthy Stotram. So this is what we started with. So let's continue on that. So verse number 4 said, Asti prakashate iti vyavaharaha pravartate tatcha astitvam prakashatvam kasmin arthe pratishtitam kim teshu va artheshu kim va sarvatmani ishvare ishvaratvam cha jivatvam sarvatmatvam cha kidrisham. Then number 6 was Janiyat tat katham jivaha Janiyat tat katham jivaha kim tat jnanasya sadhanam jnanat tasya phalam kim syat ekatvam cha katham bhavet sarvagyah sarvakarta cha katham atma bhavishyati shishyan prati itham prichan tam vaktum arabhate guruhu. This is the four verses. Normally they are all taken separately, but these are all connected together. So the Acharya that we are studying, Swami Maheshananji, decided to club them together in order to make sense of the commentary and so on. So we'll look into that. So what we saw was that that this book has to provide some guidance in terms of what is it that it's trying to do. What is the subject matter? What is the Vishaya? And by the study of the book, what do we get out of it? So, Prayojanam. And then between the book and the Prayojanam, what is the Sambandha? Like, for example, you as we were discussing the other day, that you may pick up a book on how to lose weight and, change your diet and so on and so forth. So that is the subject matter. Subject matter is reducing your weight. Then the prayojanam for a book like that is that you would actually get rid of some excess weight so that you can feel better and your health is better. That's the prayojanam. And the sambandha is different, which is that the subject matter has to be understood, and hopefully it will give you some motivation to actually follow through with it. Because by reading the book, you're not going to lose weight. But by following the instructions given in the book and having the resolution to follow through, by going to the bazaar and then getting all these protein things and getting rid of carbohydrates and fats and so on, so that is the sambandha. And an adhikari in that case would be one who has made a New Year's resolution. I'm tired of having excess weight. I've got to lose it. This is just, and the doctor also says it, and so on. So that's the adhikari. So similarly, this is a book, Dakshinamurthy Stotram. And so the subject matter we saw was Atmanam Sarvatmanam. Atmanam, what was it? Parameshwaram. So the subject matter of that book will be losing weight. That is the subject matter. Here the subject matter is there's something remarkable, absolutely remarkable. And the remarkable subject is that you and I that think of ourselves as jivatmas, once we wake up to the reality about ourselves, we will just be shocked about what a great mistake we made. And in the case of waking up from a dream, you don't have to do very much, because the dream is kind of like a very lightweight, is a light version of Jagritam, in the sense that it kind of bothers you and engages you on some non-reality, and you are just playing with things and getting afraid and all of that, so on and so forth. But really all it takes is someone touching you and saying, hey, wake up, it's time to wake up. And the whole dream just vanishes. So that part is easily understood. The fact of the matter is that for us, the waking up from the Jagrata Avastha, this also is a dream. Dream in the sense that it has a certain falsity to it, just like a dream also has a falsity to it. It is just not really, it is not the real thing. I think I said Swamiji Maheshananji had given a very beautiful example. I had not seen this example before, and I talked about this in the Saturday class, I think, or maybe I did it here, so sometimes I repeat the same thing in the same class and don't say it to the other one, so I don't know. Anyway, the example he gave was that there was a man who had a son that he was very fond of and raised him up and was very happy with him and so on. But then when the son grew up, he just would not listen to his dad. He just became a very independent person and not really a good person. He started making all kinds of problems and this, that, or the other. Borrowing money from his dad and just spending it on drinks and stuff like that. So his father got very, very angry with him and kept telling him, you cannot do this, you are just disappointing me, and I raised you I put a lot of money into our whole life was there. And so, but the son never really changed. So one day the father said, okay, that's it. From this day on, you are not my son anymore. And just get out of the home, never come back, do not ever call me, and don't call me dad. Is that clear? I've had it with you. That's it. You're no longer my son. I'm severing my relationship with you. So the son, okay. The son said, okay, then he left and so on and so forth. The mother was crying, and why did you have to do that, and this, that, or the other. He says, no, he's just spoiling my life. I've got other things to do. I can't just keep on coddling him like this. I've given him enough chance. Good, done with. That's it. So this is the situation. And so from that point on, he told his mother, remove all of his pictures from here. And I don't want to see him again. I don't want to hear about him. Absolutely nothing. He's a non-existing person in my life from this point on. Absolutely nothing. I don't have relationship. So Swami Maheshananji says, it is something like that in our adopting in the opposite direction, adopting ourselves as a jiva. How is it similar? Because the fact of the matter is that him saying you are no longer my son is not possible. He is just making pretension. No matter how he can, And the pretension has some effects on his life, in the sense that he no longer has to spend the money to him. It has effect on the son. But let's just look at from a father's perspective. So there are some implications about his decision to disown him. And those implications he can live with or whatever. But it is not for him to say, "You are not my son," because the fellow was born from his wife's tummy. And he was his real son as long as he lives, whichever comes first. When he dies or his son dies, that connection is Ishvara's connection. It is not his connection. He can pretend that I am not his father, he is not my son. That he can do. It's a pretension. But the reality of it is that this is a connection which is not his. It is a connection which is made by Ishvara. Similarly is the case in terms of the subject matter of this book. It is not for you to say, "I am just a jiva. I am just, good for nothing. I'm struggling and I'm trying my best, but things keep happening to me. Life is passing by." All kinds of, these are your conclusions, not factual. The fact of the matter is that you and Ishvara have been the same forever. It's not as though you're going to now pray some things and saying, "Okay, I'm told that I can be you. I'm not sure that I understand any of that, but okay, fine. I'll go along with it." It's not something like this. Just like in the case of the father and son, the relationship is not subject to interpretation. It's a done deal. As soon as he's born, he's his son and will stay there. And just by saying that you're not my son and this, that, or the other, nothing can change that. So similarly here also. So the subject matter is that please understand that your conclusion is false. Is false. See the truth of yourself. And the sooner you grapple with the conclusion, you might as well get started. Because it is not true. It's not true. It's not going to, what is true will prevail. It was true before you started thinking in this life, and it will stay while you are thinking the same way, and after your life is over, it will be the same. Your reality is the same as Sattvam, Satchidananda, as the Parameshwara. That is a fact that you cannot grapple with. You cannot question it. You can put some false paint on it, and this is exactly what is happening. While you're dreaming, you put some kind of a paint on yourself, some coloring. I am something like this. I'm not what I thought I was. And you play that game, except that the dream is very light. It just, as soon as you blow on it, it just goes away. And this one takes a little work. Because your conclusions, your karmas, your false imposition of your own identity has taken millions of years. It is exactly like, if you have a clean metallic golden vessel and it just has a little bit of dirt on it that doesn't look like a nice gold vessel, then just by putting a little bit of some wet paper and some cloth and maybe a little bit of soap, the shine comes out very easily. That's the dream. Or the dirt has been caked in over thousands of years. It's some kind of a metallic vessel from, Rama's days that somebody found in Ayodhya as they were digging. And it doesn't look like a golden vessel. It looks so yucky. It has so many layers and so on. So it might take a little bit more work. But the fact of the matter is that also is a metallic, same thing as the newer one which just had dirt on it. So the dream also is very symbolic of what we need to do. We just have to wake up, and it requires more work on it. And we have to go through all the emotions. First emotion is, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. This looks, and so so really I think that's what needs to be understood, that is the subject matter. And the prayojanam, which is amazing, just incredible, complete freedom from all problems. Then sambandha. Sambandha we'll talk a lot more about, and so all the discussions from the scholars, that just by reading, just by knowing, how can you get free? Don't you have to do some, just like a weight loser has to do some work just by reading the theory and practice. And so there are some answers to that. All of that will come here in terms of the sambandha. Then the final thing is the adhikari. And the adhikari here means, I can close with this revision and then go on to the next point. As we saw in the last week, that traditionally the Vedantic adhikari is painted as one who is afflicted badly in life, who's got a lot of problems. He's sorrowful. And the acharyas say that is not, it may happen once in a while, but that is not a true adhikari. Not a true adhikari. And so that adhikaritvam is now pointed out here. So as in the case of the person who wants to lose weight, is one who really wants to get hold of his or her life and is very passionate about it, and he wants to do all the work. That's the adhikari. Here the adhikaritvam is one who is neither very sorrowful nor very happy. Somewhere in between. And one who may not have the questions of this type already ready for asking, but once the questions are posed, it should engage you. So I went into this type way A, B, C, D last time. That you should have the ability to say yes. Otherwise you will say this, why are you asking these kind of questions? It doesn't make any sense. Then you walk away and you lose the opportunity. So anyway, just as a revision, those are the 4 things that define Anubandha Chatushtaya, that define what the book is, what the prayojanam is, what the sambandha between the prayojanam and Vishaya is, and then what is the adhikari, what is it that I have to do. And so the Manasa Ullasa, really speaking, if you were to really look at the essence of it, is much more focused on the last one. What is it that I have to do? I'm here, I'm willing, but I'm not sure what is it that because this is too big a problem for me to solve by myself. Absolutely not possible. I was reading a commentary by Swami Maheshananji on Purusha Suktam, and beautiful. My God, I must have read it 2 or 3 times now. I'm now revising it, and every time I read it, I get so much out of it. It's like going down to the depth of the ocean and finding out new jewels that you had missed the first time. So he said that, and in fact, I can couple it to. I wasn't planning to do that, but let me couple it to in this section of 4 verses 4 to 7. Asti prakashateti. The last one is Shishyan prati ittam prichan, means being asked by the Shishya like this. Vaktum arabate guruhu. Guruhu now starts to answer. And so here Swami Maheshananji makes a point to say that here is where it is clearly pointed out. It doesn't say Guru instructs the person. It doesn't say instructs the person. I don't know what the Sanskritam would be for that. It doesn't mean that says, okay, now please do some puja and do some sadhana and so on. Although that will all be part of this whole book. But it says Vaktum arabhate guruhu, means he starts to speak. So the Guru speaking is very key to the whole thing. And Swami Maheshananji pointed this out in this other Purusha Suktam. So that's the connection I wanted to make. He said, you know, I went to Himalayas once. I don't know how old he was when he went there. And all the gurus, they go to higher and higher peaks and go to Manasarovar and so on. So he said there was a point where I couldn't go any further because I would take 1 step forward and I would go back 2 steps. I would slip in the snow. And so he says finally his helper, the Sherpa, told him, Swamiji, you can't do this. You're just walking by yourself. You know what you need to do? You need to get a stick with a sharp end. And get 2 of them if possible, but at least 1. And then as you start to slip, put this thing on the ground so that it sticks, because your chappals slip. And then when you put this into the ground, then go to the next step. So he says, I was missing that, and once I found that out, then I could make progress. I could make progress. He said this is exactly the same situation as the sadhakas who want to learn without a guru. Not possible. It's not as though you're not sincere, you're working hard, you have good intentions, everything is there. But you need an external aid. An external aid. And here, another thing which is very similar to this, which we have talked about many times before, that's this external aid. Actually, let me finish the external aid reference that he made in Purusha Suktam. So let me finish that and then I'll go to the other example. The external aid, he said, is the blessings of Ishvara. Blessings of Ishvara. You have to have the right attitude and just say, I can't do this by myself. Hey Bhagavan, help me. I don't care how you're helping me. It's not for me to figure that out. But just help me. And just simply repeating the names and so on. There's a lot. We will go into all of that. So this sadhana. This is the thing about the upasana. Ishvara upasana, different kinds of upasana. To strengthen your knowledge and to make it work for you is the external aid. The teaching of the Guru, external aid. You cannot do by yourself. Anyway, so that was one thing. Then the very classical example given by Swami Dayanand Ji and others also is that you cannot look at yourself without a mirror. Cannot do that. Your eyes can see everything else, but this is what happens sometimes. Somebody, your spouse or somebody, children will say, "Hey, you've got food particles right here. Please, can you please remove it? It looks very funny because you just ate or something and you didn't really wipe your mouth or something. And you don't know. It doesn't feel much on the skin, but somebody says, "Hey, you please clean yourself." Or somebody can, point something else about yourself. "Hey, you've got a black mark. Where did you get that from?" You need a mirror. And so the teaching is the mirror. The Guru's Vakyas are your mirror so you can see yourself. And so you need an external aid. And so here, not only the normal teaching, but also Ishvara's anugraha. Without anugraha, and this is being taught by people who are very rare, who have gone through a lifetime. Very impressive, really, their experiences. They're dealing with millions of people. And out of those millions of people, really sadhakas who are struggling, who have spent all their life studying and they still have not achieved it. And distilling their experiences and presenting it. So when you say Ishvara's anugraha, it is not just casual talk, I remember this, one of the problems that people like myself used to have in the teaching, then when we took the course, somehow the feeling that all of this stuff, Ishvara's anugraha, etc., are for others. I am too smart. I can figure it all out by myself. I remember this about my own attitude. And it was told to us and so on, but it just didn't do. After a lifetime, I'm beginning to feel how stupid I was. Why didn't I just accept it right away? And why did I have this ghamand that I can do this on my own? Not possible. Still struggling. And I'm just now focusing on what is it that I need to do. So this external aid is an important part of the adhikari. So this is a problem with the adhikari. Adhikaritva means that you can have a feeling that, I'm very smart, I can figure all of this out. I don't read any guru, I don't need to go to classes, I can just do it on a book. No, you can't. It doesn't work. What can we do? And then you have to find the right person. It's not an easy thing to do. Why? Because your own conclusions are so thick in mud and earth that your own worth is not easy to clean off. So to conclude, why we need all these verses from Sureshwaracharya, and why do we need it from Gaudapadacharya for the Upanishads and so on, is because the way to remove your doubts about your ability to be no one else other than Parameshwara, it's a difficult thing to do. You need the external aid for us to know about this. Anyway, so long commentary. Now let's go back to the specifics of verses number 4 through 7. We started to do this. So I think I mentioned it to you that what Swami Maheshananji has done is he's put down, what's it called? 1, 2, 3, the book, not bookmarks, what is it called? Bullets. Not bullets even, it's just, remember you mark a word with a numeral 1, And then you have a footnote. Then you have a footnote. So you just put some kind of a footnote, I think, would be a good way to do that. So what he has done is, the way he is, I think I mentioned that to you, that he himself describes that I didn't have the time to write a complete book, which is a textual. So he has resorted to these, whole explanation is nothing but in terms of footnotes alone. Very beautiful, but nicely done. So this is how it would be. So let's look at the first one. Asti prakashate iti vyavahara. Footnote number 1. Vyavahara, he put down footnote number 1. So he says, look at this. Vyavahara means your transactions in life. Any constituent of life involves some vyavahara, some transaction. All transactions involve two things. You cannot transact with a non-existing thing. Transactions require an existing thing. And an existing thing means something that is known to you. So the knowingness of something and is equal to recognizing the existence of something. And all transactions must involve these two things. This is the beginning. Asti prakashate. So asti means the existence. Vidyamanata. And prakashate means pratiti, means knowingness. Yes. Did you see anything? He says, yes, I saw it. So when you say I saw it, means that it was there, and I also could recognize it. This is how vyavaharas happen. All transactions happen with these constituents. What are the two constituents? Asti prakashate iti vyavaharaha. Then pravartate. So vyavahara pravartate means that the vyavaharas happen. Pravartate means they go forth, they happen. So the transactions happen. Same thing, transactions occur. Pravartate means they occur. In that transaction, tat astitvam cha prakashatvam. Tat cha astitvam prakashatvam kasmin arthe pratishtitam. He says, so this isness, existence, and the knowingness, where is it? What is the source of it? Kind of like, supposing this is interesting how this is an important kind of a line of inquiry. Look at this. Supposing you are a child, or even an adult, and the sun rises, and there is light. And then you don't think about, actually there's not that good an example. So let us say that you have some light. You don't see the sun during the day, but you just have some light during the day. So you transact in the day, and you say that there's very nice and so on. But then someone can ask, where does the light come from? What is the source of the light? And that requires an amazing inquiry. I mean, really speaking, if you look at this, just to say that it comes from the sun is not enough. Imagine how the rays of the sun that are a million years away travel to us. So this requires a lot of inquiries by great scientists, not ordinary scientists. And how all of a sudden, when the sun goes down, all those rays collapse into the sun. It's just amazing how the similar thing is that of, for example, our temperature changed. How did it change? What happened? Where is heat? So all this is an invitation for inquiry. So similarly here also, so the adhikari should inquire. Should inquire. If you don't, then you should. That this astitvam asti and prakashate, tat astitvam cha prakashatvam kasmin arthe pratishtitam. Where did it come from? And as though this inquiry is, I'm still saying, well, why is he asking where does it come from? Then he gives some further hints to the direction of the inquiry. How? That one is the existence and knowingness belongs to the various objects. Because Swami Maheshanji gave a beautiful example. He said, look at this. He said that suppose an object has a shape, a length and a shape, like a wooden rod. Okay? Now, the wooden rod has a beginning because it was carved out of something. The length also was based on some carpenter who made it. So you can tell where the beginning of the rod's dimensions are, but you cannot say the astitvam. The astitvam which is common to all. See, this is the thing. Supposing you have a rod which is 3 feet long. Then you can say this 3 foot long rod came from such and such shop. And then you have a 2 foot rod. That came from a different shop. So you can say these two come from different sources. Both of them have the same astitvam. Where did that come from? Which shop made it? Prakashatvam. Both of them are joy. You don't see the beginning of astitvam and prakashatvam. You don't see that. In fact, the final answer, as we will see, is that that the astitvam and prakashatvam doesn't change. Doesn't change. It remains the same, and it is enjoyed by different people depending upon their specific gravity, etc., etc. So, for example, the liquid has astitvam, prakashatvam, different from the solid, and so on and so forth. So I don't know, I don't remember which class I talked about this. This is another very beautiful thing talked about by Swami Maheshananji. He said, sometimes you get some questions, which is a math question. And the math question has some formula. It has a formula. A squared plus b squared divided by c or something like this equals so and so. This is a formula. And so when the young child is first given a math problem, arithmetic problem, and then it says, okay, supposing I give you, so many apples, and then I divide that apple and cut the apples into two parts. It's some complication you do. How many will it be? And sometimes so you have these self-test questions, and then the answer is given in a reverse form in page number 4. So this fellow looks at this and he says, I might as well just look at it, number 4, quickly. He says, okay, it's 27 pieces. After you cut it, it's 27 pieces. So the answer is known to this fellow. Is known to the fellow. Then you have a similar example that you give, and then again the answer is given. Like in San Jose Mercury, you come up this, who has the most population, which country, and he says, not this, and then so on and so forth. So similarly, you look for the answer. And so the fellow says, okay, now I'm very happy. I don't know why these guys were so stupid to give me the answer. I can just solve it. And then a tougher example is given, which has no answer in it. And a person who knows how to derive it can figure it out by using the formula. So here's the thing, Swami Maheshananji says that the Jivatvam and the Paramatmatvam is the same, is the answer. It's the answer. This is the answer. You are already given the final answer. Already given the final answer. But the final answer doesn't do anything for me. You know why? Because when some problem occurs in my life, then I don't know what formula to use that will give me the same answer. I get flummoxed. I start to doubt. Vedanta says that I'm free of problems, but I'm having problems. I don't understand this. Anyway, I'll have to deal with it separately. Right now, let me just solve the problem. That means you have not figured out how to derive the right answer. But the answer is correct. The problem is your derivation is unknown to you. Where you put the problem, which classification you put the problem where, because the problems belong to the mind, not to Atma. And which factor, where is the mind? And in fact, really, all things in my life that I observe, the transactions that we talked about in terms of asti, prakashate, iti vyavahara pravartate, is looking at your reflections in the mirror of your mind. Everything. All the transactions. Just like all the transactions in the dream are something that you observe by looking at the dream. It doesn't say anything about your reality, that you're really the waker and the dreamer, which is one and the same. It doesn't say anything about that. You are only looking at the dream. So similarly, you can be doing all the transactions in your life, but it doesn't reveal actually who you are, except if you start to inquire. That is the waking up. You start to inquire. Where does it come from? Then the eyes of your waking up will start to open. So that's the reason for this line of inquiry. He says, Tat astitvam cha prakashatvam kasmin arthe pratishtitam. Where does it reside? Kim teshu artheshu? Does it reside in the particular things that you're observing, Va kim sarvatmani Ishware. So one can ask, how did Ishvara get into the picture? How did Ishvara come into the picture? Because you can say something else. Is the isness and the knowingness of the table belong to the table, or does it belong to something else? Here, the answer which is given is brought in straight away. I mean, in other words, if you have some intermediate steps, and you can say, does it belong to Milpitas? That doesn't make any sense. Why? Because the astitvam and prakashitvam never varies. Never varies. So you cannot see it being born. It is not a bhautika. Bhutebhyaha. It is not something which you can observe. And so, but it is there. And in fact, this is the beauty of my life, is that really speaking, the astitvam and prakashatvam never leaves me. Never leaves me. So that means it is uncreated. So therefore, to say Ishvara is appropriate. Ishvara means Brahman, some kind of even if you have not defined Ishvara at this point. But an entity which is not present in front of me. This is still a question. The answers have not been given yet. This is just a question. Anyway, so that's what it says. So he says, yeah, well, I've summarized his points, I think, accurately and up to this point in time. And here, this is why you find that in the study of these Vedanta, the various references from the Shastra are given from time to time. I remember this again. There was another problem that I used to have, and I used to ask Swami Dayanandji, and that is that why are the references given? Why can't you just explain it to me, and I have full faith in your ability to explain things that I can understand. But why bring in all of a sudden a quotation from the Gita and from Ishavasya Upanishads and from Chandogya and so on? So he said that really the Shastra, everything goes back to the original. He said that I also learnt it from my gurus that also cited the same thing. So there is a commonality between Shruti and Yukti. Yukti means your own ability to understand, and Shruti means what is being said. So the reason I brought that up is because here astitvam and prakashitvam has been cited many times in the Shruti as being belonging to Ishvara. Ishavasya idagam sarvam yat kinchit jagatyam jagat. Very first verse of Ishavasya, he says that the Ishvara is really enveloping the whole world. How? Astitvam and prakashitvam. And see this from your own experience. Your experiences may vary. Sometimes you're looking at the table, sometimes you're looking at people, sometimes you're dealing with sound, sometimes you're dealing with other things. And all, but astitvam and prakashitvam does not vary. And then we will see that the astitvam prakashitvam not only belongs to Ishvara, it belongs to Ishvara as you. It's not as though it is apart from you. So it is not a paroksha vastu. Neither is it a pratyaksha vastu as we were discussing. It is an aparoksha vastu, which is nothing but you alone. And so this is how the line of inquiry proceeds. So we have done up to this point. Asti prakashate iti vyavahara pravartate tad astitvam cha prakashatvam kasmin arthe pratishtitam kim teshu artheshu va kim sarvatmani ishvare. Then Ishwaratvam and Jivatvam cha Sarvatmatvam Kidrisham. So the next question is, okay, now that we have at least provided the intermediate answer that it may belong to, he hasn't definitively said. He still opened the possibility that the Astitvam and Prakashatvam may still reside in the table. I think the hints are given that that's not going to happen, but at least keep your mind open. We'll have to prove it to you, why it doesn't happen. But you talk about Ishwaratvam, then you talk about Jivatvam. And so they have their own ability, their own way of expressing. Ishwaratvam means something, so it's interesting. The way it happens is that Jivatvam is very well known to me because I experience it every day. This is who I am. I'm very familiar with my problems, my history, all of that is so on. But it is tinged with limitations. Jivatvam is well understood, but also wrongly understood because I am associating it with problems. Ishwaratvam, the way I even define Ishwaratvam means having no problems. Who is the very word Ishvara means the one who is the boss of everything, means independent. An independent person cannot have any problems. It will be stupid to have a person who is independent that has problems. Because then why is the reason for an independence? So the very definition of Ishwaratva means infinity, being Paramatma. But it is not well known to me. It is a paroksha vastu. And so the Mahavakya Tattvamasi, as you know, what it does is it removes the unnecessary upadhis. And it's just like saying that this person that you saw today is the same person that you saw 20 years ago. And so there, the 20-year-old person form is given out, today's form is given out, and the identity of the person is taken out. So similarly here also, Ishwaratvam and Jivatvam, even though they appear to be different, they are not. This is what I have to understand because I don't accept it at this point in time. But anyway, the question is Ishwaratvam, Jivatvam cha Sarvatmatvam. So here, make a note of it. Sarvatmatvam means their own way of presenting themselves. In other words, I hesitate to use the word Swarupa. So you can say Swabhava. Swabhava means that their personality, not the person. The persons are the same, but their personalities are different. So their personalities, what is the nature of the differences in personalities? So now I can summarize it. Ishwaratvam, Jivatvam cha Sarvatmatvam Kidrisham. Then he said that I have heard that you guys talk about that Jiva and Ishvara are one and the same. How am I to understand it? Tat Jivaha katham janiyat. This is hard for me to understand this. How am I going to do that? What is the sadhana? Let me see, that is number 8. So I think he's explained it a little bit more. He says that that is this something that I will have will this be directly known to me, pratyaksha, or will I infer on it, or some other way of looking at it? How is it that's going to happen to me? How will you explain it to me, and how will I grasp it? Then I want to go back a little bit. Number 5. Yeah, I didn't go through that. I want to finish that. So if you go back to Ishwaratvam, the word Ishwaratvam, there is a footnote on that. So he might cover this in more detail later on, but even at this stage, it will be useful to just look at the types of creations. Types of creations. So he says, is the Ishvara the intelligence of causing the world, or is it the material of the world, or is it both? Abhinna nimitta upadana karanam. Is it both? And if I look at the world and how it comes about, there are some possibilities. One of them is that you have some elements already there and you put them together. So this is what is called Arambhavada. And the Arambhavada is the postulation by Naiyayikas, Nyaya. And by the way, they should be equated to the modern scientists. Exactly, Naiyayikas and the modern scientists are identical. How? Because Arambhavada means that the world consists of combination of particles. So you have a periodic table where you have all these, oxygen, and oxygen is a compound, but you have the elements of the thing, and how they combine together creates this whole universe. And in fact, there is a feeling of finding out what are the fundamental particles. So this is called the combination of particles that creates the world. Like, for example, a very simple example is that you have various strands of cotton. And from combining the cotton strands, you make a cloth out of it, a kurta. And the kurta is nothing but a woven strands of cotton or some other material. So this is what is called Arambhavada. And this is the purview of Naiyayikas, Nyayas. And we have a very advanced set of Nyayas that talks about the types of particles. The so-called, the modern, so on, they are just a variation on the theme. We've known this for millions of years, literally, from the very beginning of the creation. So this is what is called Arambhavada. Or another way of creation is what is called Parinamavada. So Parinamavada means one state transforms into another state. Like, for example, you have a liquid. When you heat it, it becomes some kind of a, some cloud gas or something like this. So this is called Parinamavada. Or the classical example given in the Shastra is that the milk is transformed into yogurt. So something happens, you do some things, and so the whole world they look upon as nothing but parinama, changing from, they don't go into the subparticles. They say that I don't care about that, but the thing is that it just transforms itself. And so this is what is called Sankhyavada, the Sankhya's. The Sankhya's believe that. And this is not the same as the Sankhya Jnanam in the Bhagavad Gita. That is different. The Sankhya's is a very particular school of thought that says that the Mahat is the original state, and when you have Sattva, Rajas and Tamas, it transforms the Mahat and makes it into different Atmas. They got some weird things and so on and so forth. Yeah, so there's different. And in fact, something like what the Jainis also believe in the something is, I don't know the exact differences, but the Jainis believe that all the Atmas are all different from each other. And we'll get into all of that. There will be you'll be tired of me talking about what others say and how we respond to it and so on. You'll say, come on, let's keep on going. So anyway, time will come. So anyway, this is what is called Parinamavada. Then is what we think. This is called Vivartavada. So Vivartavada means that the reality does not change, but the perception of the reality can make it look like it is a change. It's called Vivartavada. So Vivartavada means, like for example, you may be enamored of golden ornaments, but the golden ornaments that can be sold at many times more because it's a very beautiful piece has no reality to it really. It is just the reality of the gold itself. So the whole world that we see is nothing but the ornamentation of the Atma. And some badly made, some well made. And at the end of that, so this is just a projection of our part, just like for example, in the case of that father who had disowned the son. So it's very possible that you can have a variation on how he thinks about his previous son. It's very possible that even though he's disowned him, he still remembers him. And then he says, no, I don't want to remember him. Or it's very possible that he praises him now. So there's all kinds of variations on your projections. Even though the truth is that he's never your not son. So similarly here also, Vivartavada means you can do anything you want to. You are an Atma, unchanging Atma. This is the Vivartavada. And finally, you also have what is called Sanghatavada. Sanghatavada means that it is a building of process. It's a building of process of various things that were already there. It's very similar to the others, except for Vivartavada, where they have their own, and the Buddhists believe in this. So just like, for example, when you make a house, so then you have some bricks and, this, that, or the other. So house is just a name. Really, it means that it consists of so many bricks and so much mortar and so on and so forth. And so this is what is called Sanghatavada. Sanghatavada. So here, for example, our friends, these people that we are going to the retreat. What is it?
Brahmakumaris.
Huh? Brahmakumaris. So we talk to the Brahmakumaris, they all say that we are parts of Ishvara. And if you ever say we are Ishvara, they will say, I don't know what you've been smoking. is not really. We are all parts of Ishvara. Just like there are parts of a house. So Ishvara is the combination of all the parts. There are all kinds of things like that. So this is the Ishvaratvam. Then, let me quickly go through. So, then he says, Katham janiyat kim sadhanam tasya jnanat. That for you to explain it to me, how will I? What is the sadhana? What do I have to do to understand all of this? Kim phalam syat. So on the second line of the verse 6, Jnanat tasya phalam kim. What do I get out of this? I do all of this understanding and so on. So what? And then ekatvam cha katham bhavet. How is the identity of two things that are so dissimilar with each other? How is that even possible? I don't get it. For you to even make the statement doesn't make any sense to me. I think what I'll do is I'll stop here. I'll make a point that I'll remember so I don't repeat it. There's only a little bit left. Then I'll complete these questions. And then right away, we will go into the first verse. Sometimes before the verse of Dakshinamurti comes, there are several verses explaining. Here there's only 7 verses, and then we go right away into the verse of the Dakshinamurti Stotram that we will do next time. Om asato ma satgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityor ma amritam gamaya. Om Purnamad Purnamidam Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Questions? Yeah.
I don't see any sambandha between these sets of verses and the Vishwam Darpana. Are we going? Yeah.
So the Vishwam Darpana will begin to answer these questions.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's not the explanation of the verse itself. It is the kind of questions that are answered by the first verse and the other verses also. It's not just that. But it sets into tone some of the basic questions that we have, or we should be asking. What is the source of astitvam and so on and so forth. But yeah, then the first verse will begin to Vaktum Arabhate means that when the Shastra begins to talk about it, then you will see how the questions are being answered. Yeah, so that's how the connection sambandha will come. Yeah. Anything else? Yeah.
Prayojanam and Sambandham, whatever we are discussing now, that's for the whole Dakshinamurti Stotram, right?
Whole Dakshinamurti Stotram. No. So, so the Prayojanam will may have to be given in a form that you accept for the time being. It may not be clear. Prayojanam remains the same, but the full benefit of that, it's a little bit like, I think, like learning to swim, where the first lesson may be just pretending you are swimming. And pretending not in the sense that you're lying down on a bed, you're actually in the water and blowing bubbles and all those kinds of things. but the full swimming you don't know yet. And it may not be until 10 lessons. So each one of them is a lesson. And then after that, you have to think about it, that the prayojanam will be fully realized. But the talking of it will be keeping the ultimate prayojanam in view. It's not as though the prayojanam for number 1 will be different than the prayojanam for number 2. No. Yeah. It's very interesting. I think one unique factors about Hinduism. In fact, there is an interesting project that is going on. I'll tell you about that sometime. I just pulled Kumud into it for writing some books for the children and so on. And we were just discussing it along. We have a number of people that are doing this. One of the unique parts of the Hindu Vedic learning is that it has two very distinct parts. One is just do it without understanding, which requires some shraddha. And in the case of young children, the parents say, just do namaste, just do namaste. So the kid says, why? What is namaste? He says, don't question it. Just put your hands together and just say namaste. And go to the temple. He said, why? Why should I go to the temple? Just don't question it, okay? Then slow, and it doesn't stop. If you go through all your life by doing namaste without understanding, or to go to the temple without understanding, then you have not really reached the fulfillment of the prayojanam. So, as I think the Acharya, I think Swami Vivekananda says that religion without spirituality is incomplete, and spirituality without religion is impossible. So the full prayojanam will only come when understanding comes. But what is it that I need to understand has to require some shraddha. Yeah, that's how it is. Great, no questions, we can leave early. Oh yes, sorry.
I just, not a question, but you always mention Purusha Suktam by Maheshwarananda Swamiji. Have you ever taught that?
No, I've never taught it. We have to find time. I'm really very impressed by it. Very impressed by it. Amazing. And the way he has, just like, for example, I think very similar to what we did with Rudram. How he has explained Rudram, which we did like several years back. Same thing on Purusha Suktam. So it's on my list. I don't know when that will happen. We'll have to drop one of the existing classes and take it up. But I'm really warming up to it. It's a very long, very practical in life, and explains the whole creation of the Virat, and then our role in it, and the growth of from what is called Purusha to Uttama Purusha. From Purusha to Uttama Purusha. We are a Purusha now, but we are not an Uttama Purusha, which means that it is very close to Ishvara. And that will come by our reaching the gunas of Ishvara. All that is described so well, so beautifully. So one of these days we'll take it up. That's on my list. It has now become as part of my list. It wasn't there before, but the more I study it, I get so much out of it that I thought it would be nice to communicate it to people.
That seems to be like a foundation for any of the other studies. Am I right?
No, not really. I mean, it's just different views of it. Certainly is a very fundamental questions, but not really I think the fundamental foundation of that is just the understanding of the basics through Tattva Bodha, Atma, Anatma, and all those. That is the foundation. Certainly in that foundation, Ishvara is not talked about very much, whereas in Purusha Suktam, Ishvara is brought in very early into the thing. So it's a different view of the whole thing, but the end is the same. So, yeah.
The Vishwarupa Darshanam, right?
Vishwarupa Darshanam, absolutely. And the explanation of yajna. I didn't know the definition and the explanation of the yajna, of the various yagas that are given and so on, and how that translates into our life, that we have to really, the balidanam of the Purusha itself, from the Pashu to the Pashupati, all of that is explained so well. Amazing. So there are, I think he taught this in, I think 1980s, in this ashram in New Delhi that I just went to recently. On my last visit, I went to the same ashram, even though he's not there. But I've been to the ashram now. So he taught that in 78 classes.
Do they have any recordings?
It's just written in a book. I don't know. You can find out.
English?
English?
No, it's in Hindi.
It's a
It's
two-part
in Hindi.
book. We ordered it.
Two ordered. We have some people have already gotten it. But let me warn you, you'll have to read it 2 or 3 times before it starts to even make sense. It has happened to me. 2 or 3 times, twice I read it and I said, oh, nice, nice, nice. Then the 3rd time, I can't put it down. So I try to do it one every day in the morning. And so far I've been good. I finish every day one.
Even the English translation of Dakshinamurthy Stotram of what we are following, Maheshanandaji.
Yeah.
If somebody translates into English,
Well,
it will be a greatest contribution. Maybe people might be here who can have that talent.
well, I tried to. I called Swami in the one I met in Delhi recently, and in Mount Abu I called him, and I said that I'm willing to do it. He says it's a little difficult, but do it if you can. It's not possible. I don't have the time to do a really good job of it. First of all, you need to know Sanskrit very well. This is all, 60% of that is Sanskrit. It looks like it's Hindi, but it is, all the words are and it doesn't exist. It's not there.
Tattvavedanta might be able to do it. He knows.
Well, Swami, I don't think Swami Tattvavedananda even knows Swami Maheshanandaji.
Oh.
None of our acharyas even know about him. Not even. Swami Viditatma knows a little bit, but in my talks with him, he doesn't appreciate the depth of this Swami. So I don't discuss very much with him. So they are not cognizant of it. There may be some people, but I haven't found anything remarkable. So yeah, you're right. We need to. I wish I was younger and I had more time.
You are younger.
I would love to, and that's why I said time. I would love to translate it. That'll be a good gift to the humankind. But it's not there. What can I do?
think that will be your signature project.
Okay, very good. I'll see you next week.